Emilia Pérez. This is the most creative storytelling of a deadbeat father that I've ever seen. Like, I'm not sorry, but if you're making a movie like this, you're basically asking to get flamed. Their first mistake was starting this movie off with autotune for the intro. It's so funny too because I literally just uploaded an episode talking about how I like musicals, but I didn't mean these kinds of musicals. I've never seen this kind of musical. My first question is who wrote this? Who wrote this? It's not good. So apparently this movie was nominated for a lot of Oscars and claims to do well and better than most of the most notorious better movies. That wasn't English, but neither was this movie. Not to mention the lady who plays both the murderer and the aunt has gotten herself into some recent tweets controversy from the past. I mean, I don't really have an opinion on that. You should do your own research. I want to, oh my God, I can't even get my words out. This movie was just so startling. What I was trying to say is there was just way too much musical. There was way too much. It happened way too often. There was no scarcity of musical. I hadn't even gotten 10 minutes into the movie yet, and they already had sung 3 times, I think. Maybe it was twice. I don't know who she is. I don't even know her name yet. And she's talking about how sad she is about being a lawyer and how big her butt is. I genuinely did not know what was happening. So far, any song that had been sung had no relation to any context of this movie. I don't do the whole copyright thing, so I'm just going to give you guys my rendition of what this song basically was. I wrote the song. I hope you appreciate it.
I need a piece of bread. I need to eat some food. How do you make a sandwich and eat some cheese? You add some tomatoes and there's some blood vessels and there's some peanuts and there's some penis and there's some tongue and then another slice of bread and then you have a sandwich.
That came straight from the voice memos. Okay, so the lawyer lady, Zoe Zaldana, she's basically asked by the doctor in his office if the patient that she's trying to legally get treated has any medical issues or mental issues or anything like that. And she lies and says no, even though we just saw that he got out of prison. Or maybe, I don't think, wait, no, he was fleeing prison. Like, I'm sure the doctor's office didn't have prison or murderer on their actual list when they were saying those things or coming up with these ideas. But somewhere in that question, it is insinuated because he said, or whatever, right? All of a sudden, we're getting a freaking duet with the doctor now and this lawyer lady whose name that seems to escape me because this whole time I thought this movie was about her, and it wasn't. My critique here is their voices don't even mesh well together. Oh my goodness, I couldn't listen to that. This is not what we were looking for. I've never seen a Star Wars movie in my freaking life. How do I even know that? She's just a sad lawyer sitting in front of a patient doctor, asking him to trust her. For her own gain, of course, because she doesn't want to die. Hey, if you're enjoying this episode so far, please make sure you leave a rating on Apple Podcasts. What? Yeah, that's what it's called. And Spotify. And follow the podcast, depending on your listening platform, and be sure to turn on notifications so that you don't miss future content from me. You can also listen to episodes of the podcast offline if you hit the download button on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It's not only helpful for me, but helpful for you so that you can easily come back to the episode if you didn't finish it, or if you want to listen to it offline. If you want to re-listen to it, that's cool too. Truthfully, throughout this entire movie, I'd never believed that she actually believed in this cause. I just think she didn't want to die. Nothing in this movie led me to believe otherwise. And I was going to say, I can't believe that Selena Gomez's character would actually date a guy with a beard that looks like that. I mean, look at, I don't know who ran the makeup department. That beard and that mullet and those grills, they just were not. No. This dude looks like Billy Ray freaking Cyrus. Of course, Billy Ray could probably pull off a pair of grills. He fakes his death, abandons his family, hashtag deadbeat daddler. Selena Gomez is crying over it for some reason, as if, like, she wasn't cheating on him anyway. I wonder, Has anyone ever told Selena Gomez she's a very convincing crier on camera? And I'm totally not referencing that little video that surfaced the internets. Yeah, she was crying. It took a lot of effort to whip your phone out and open the camera app, press record, and caption it and then post it and then take it down and then cry about it again later. Yeah, I didn't buy it for a second. There was no way she was that upset that he was dead or missing, right? Get out of here with that. Nobody wants to hear that. Especially when later on you then talk about how you're itching, wink wink, for the other guy. Can I just say I really like Selena's hair, by the way. The blonde shortcut, it totally works. Such a random thought that popped up in my head while watching this, but there you go. So the movie decides to bless us with another song. And this one is called, I don't know what it's called. I actually don't know what it's called. We've got Rita and Perez, a.k.a. the lawyer, and the murderer. They're sitting in a restaurant. She got ran through. She got ran through in this restaurant. She runs into the father. See, this movie, I don't like this stuff. They try to get you. She runs into the father. We're just gonna. They start singing this song, and it's the dumbest thing when you translate it to English. Because as I'm reading the subtitles to this, I'm like, let me sing along. Keep in mind that this is all in Spanish. And so I'm reading the subtitles, so I'm trying to keep up. You know what? Instead of the voice memo version, we're gonna do this one right on the spot. This is how it went. Don't tell me you came by chance, that you're just passing through. Don't tell me you came by chance. Don't tell me you came by chance. Tell me you came to erase the past, to get rid of the last witness. Me. Don't tell me you came here by chance. Tell me you came to kill me, to clean up so no one knows who you were and what I know. Don't tell me you came here by chance. And then, the next one. No, Rita, I haven't come by chance, nor have I come as a friend. Thank you once more and toss you flowers. No, Rita, I haven't come by chance. No, Rita, I haven't come by chance. No, Rita, this is the fucking song. Then we get another scene with more singing. And this time it's Selena Gomez's voice, but barely. Thank goodness. She basically starts losing her mind and having a seizure on the dance floor. She starts yelling and screaming and chanting like this is some weird sacrificing ritual. It feels like a jungle chant you would hear in Jumanji or something. Like, Asara poraraita, atara shalaparita. Like, that's literally, you know those chants I'm talking about. Like, I didn't know what was happening. I was so confused because I'm like, I'm really trying to genuinely understand the vision that they had for this movie. But it is really hard to do that because this is unlike any musical that I have ever seen. Or you know what? I didn't see Joker 2, but I have a sneaking suspicion that even that was better than this. Guess what? So this scene, it's more singing. So there's this charity event or something, whatever it is, for like stuff. Yeah, I told you, like, I didn't understand the movie at all. But there was this event, and there was all these politicians and business owners and doctors and all these people there. And Rita starts singing and dancing on the table. You know, that scene we kept seeing in the trailer. Yeah, she like started sexually harassing a couple of people. You know, she pretended, well, not just her and the cartel murderer, they both pretended to care about all of these issues for some reason when the real problem was standing right there on stage. They should have been behind bars. Let's be honest, half of the people that are dead and missing are probably your fault. During this whole performance of her dancing on the table and harassing people sexually, she literally disrespectfully snatched a woman's extension. She's lucky that I wasn't that lady because Rita wouldn't have a face anymore. Legit question, to anyone who actually has information on this. So the ex-husband, who is now transitioned to a not husband, is now sleeping with a woman. So what exactly is the sexuality here? I'm legitimately confused. Like, I can't. Okay, so this next scene. All of a sudden, in this movie, domestic violence and double standards are completely fine when he does it because he's a woman now, since he's wearing a wig. This scene where he's brutally beating Selena Gomez. I'm kidding. It wasn't like brutal, but it was domestic and it was violent. And those two words together equals It Ends With Us Part 2. Emilia Pérez is another movie from Festival de Cannes. We're gonna say it the clean version rather than the way we said it in our Substance episode. Yeah, both of The Substance and this movie, Emilia Pérez, were both at the same festival. I knew about these movies months ago. I pay attention to a lot of festival movies. I'm very choosy which ones I watch and which ones I don't watch. I didn't get to this one, but I'm getting to it now. But everyone's talking about it this week because of the Oscars, and it's just so funny to see everybody's reaction to this. When the cartel murderer went missing, I was literally rooting for Selena Gomez's character for kidnapping her ex-husband because how dare you try to control her and then put your hands on her and then try to take her kids? Like, what did you think was gonna happen? She doesn't even know you. You're cosplaying as the kid's aunt. They don't even know that you're their father. They still think their father abandoned them and is dead. And there's just so much wrong here. So yeah, I was definitely rooting for Selena. Then we have Rita over-exaggerating this kidnapping as if it is that surprising and that devastating that a cartel murderer is kidnapped. You can't honestly be too upset about that. We're talking about a movie right now. Now, if this was real life, I've always believed, whatever it is, I don't believe that people should have their life ended because they committed crimes or because you don't like them. I just think it's a lot more effective to torture them instead. Because, hear me out, if it's someone who's able to give you valuable information, right, it's better to keep them alive than dead. This is true. And also, if you just want to have somebody to hang out with and possibly like help you around the house for free, sometimes just put them on a leash. You don't want to let them go too far because they're a criminal. And keeping them captive in your home is not just for their safety, but for yours. Prison is another option. If that's something you do believe in, then you're disgusting. Or there's something mentally wrong with you. And then we are presented with a classic, an amazing Mexican shootout standoff. I mean, definitely not stereotypical at all. I mean, I personally didn't take any offense to this movie, right? Because it's a movie. I don't take entertainment personally. In the beginning, Rita was talking about how she couldn't open her own law firm because she was black. And I'm like, very confusing because when she said that she was black, I'm like, are you black? Not in a disrespectful way like people say about Drake. I was actually genuinely confused because I thought this was a Mexican movie. So when she then had the lyric in there about her being black and then never brought up that part of her race again, I was like, I can't help but feel like they might have just thrown that in there just because. Okay, so the Mexican standoff, like I was saying, this is happening, by the way, while Selena's character has her husband kidnapped. So she unties him from the chair, drags his body, and uses him as a body shield during the shootout, which is it's gold. It's the closest thing you have as protection, and I would have done the same thing. I had actually thought he was dead. I was cheering. I was really cheering. But nope. One last grasp of air for the bad guy. The bad guy lives even after threatening a lawyer, murdering a bunch of people violently, attacking his wife, and just many other illegal and immoral things. But with that said, Selena's character still takes it upon herself to try to save her ex-husband's life because she changed her mind and didn't want to kidnap and kill him anymore, along with her Gustavo guy that she cheated on him with. Oh, by the way, she's marrying this Gustavo guy that she was itching for earlier. So they kidnapped her ex-husband, put him in a trunk, and now she's feeling very remorseful and wants to get him out of the trunk now that she knows that that Emilia person pretending to be the kid's aunt is actually her ex-husband the whole time. Doesn't really make any sense. In real life, especially from the movie that I just watched, It Ends With Us, the last thing you want to do is go back to the abuser. But fine. I won't stop you. Do what you want. Just don't cry about it later. So they start speeding in this car very viciously because Selena decides to take Gustavo's gun and threaten him with it so that he is forced to now take her ex-husband out the trunk, which she put him in, by the way. This car is swerving and she's grabbing the steering wheel, I think. I'm just gonna say that. Gustavo hits her because I guess that's the theme of the movie. The car was moving a lot. The camera angles, the camera movements, a lot of this just felt like a comedic scene. They're not paying attention to the road, the car crashes, and they all fall down. The car goes up in flames, hotter than the LA wildfires that nobody who lives outside of LA even cares about. Ashes, ashes, they all fall down. So they're all dead now, so Rita, the lawyer, takes it upon herself to take care of their kids that don't belong to her. We never even saw them build a connection with each other. Like, I don't even know how close she really is with these kids. If it were me, I would have just been like, all right, kids, well, your parents are dead. You're on your own. Good luck. Nah, I probably would have, like, done what you should do in that situation, which is call the, not CPS, but, like, the adoption agency. I don't know who you call. I haven't found myself in this predicament at all or ever, so I don't know what you do with kids whose parents have died. I'm gonna get into my final thoughts about this movie now. Like, overall, let me be generous. Let's be different, you know? Honestly, this movie isn't even as bad as what I was hearing it was. I feel like I could easily digest this movie if the musical part of the musical movie wasn't so terrible and terribly inserted into the movie, with every song having no reason to be sung. Like, you have a whole singer-songwriter on your cast. You could have asked her for some help. You probably would have had to pay her a little bit more than what you were paying her to act. But so what? I think it probably would have been slightly worth it. Maybe you could have even asked her for her connections to Taylor Swift. Oh, you know what? Maybe that's not a good... I mean, we saw Cats. There were honestly sections of this movie I felt like I could easily remove and make a separate movie that would have been 5, maybe 10 times better than this and shorter. And for real, honestly, that's not even saying much because the writing was still bad. I was actually half expecting for this movie to hit me with a black guy saying the N-word multiple times just because he's black. Like, that's what the level of stereotyping and making sure that they were hitting all the political points were giving me in this movie. Selena, being the only musician in this cast, is the one with the least singing. And honestly, that is the only W that I am willing to give this movie. This movie was also such a waste of Zoe Saldana's talent. I don't know why she agreed to this. I'm sure she can read, right? Same with Selena. I mean, her acting wasn't something to rave about in this movie in particular. But I do like Only Murderers in a Building. I think she's better on the comedic side more than anything. But with Zoe Saldana, definitely a waste of talent, for sure. And every time Perez started singing, I was like, oh my goodness, your voice is terrible. I don't know why everyone in this movie felt the need to sing. I don't know why they thought everyone needed to sing in this movie. The kid didn't need to sing, the doctor didn't need to sing, the janitor didn't need to sing, the homeless man on the sidewalk didn't need to sing. Not everyone needed to sing. And this movie was so tone deaf in so many ways. So the moral of the story is, if you get a sex change, you will no longer be liable for the crimes you've committed. So with that said, when I hang my old boss tomorrow, I will then go to the veterinarian because I'm a bitch, and to repent for the things that I've done. Instead of going to prison, I will dedicate my life to not just learning how to swim, but I will dive into the deeps of the ocean to salvage every person that has passed due to stepping out into the air and pulling the ground up towards them really fast when standing on top of a bridge. Yeah, ponder on that one, why don't you? Let me know if that went over your heads. Ooh, no pun intended. Or was it? Man, I'm killing it today. Ooh, also, no pun intended for that one either. That one was actually an accident. LOL, that's what the cop thought. Okay, I'm going overboard with this joke. No one is probably gonna even understand the story that I just told wasn't a joke. I might explain it later, I might not. We'll see. You'll just have to wait to the end to find out. All I know is I was just spitting bars. We're barred up in here. Sorry, that was cringe. Like Selena's crying. Which time? Take your pick. Yeah. The last thing I want to say is that that makeup department really They did you dirty. I don't know who thought that was a great idea. I mean, that beard and those grills are really what stood out the most. I'm not gonna lie. When the cartel kingpin guy was like, I want to be a woman, I was like, not with that voice. Man to woman to woman to man, from penis to vagina. Take away the Adam's apple. I hope you appreciated that artistic voice drop. Bandejoplasty, yes. Banjoplasty, yes. Amarioplasty, yes. Pantitoplasty, yes. I don't know what that means, yes. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. No more making fun. No more making fun of the movie. I hope you enjoyed this. Or maybe you didn't. Maybe you are mad at me now and I'm all of a sudden ignorant. And if that is your problem with me, you should probably blame the movie for that. I will say the reason why I didn't really focus on in this episode what everybody else is focusing on, which is the lack of representation or the terrible representation of Mexicans in Mexican culture and trans too, right? I don't really know much about trans stuff. So that's another reason why I didn't really talk much about that. I'm just mostly focused on how bad the movie is from a movie perspective. Because I'm a movie goer, a movie watcher. That's what my content is about. Not to mention also, everybody else is already talking about all that other stuff. So I just figured I'd focus more on the musical aspect. It was a bad musical. The writing, and so on. This was definitely a fever dream. I thought I was high when I was watching this. I can only imagine what my experience would have been like if I were for this one in particular. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend this movie to the Mexican side of my family. I can only imagine like what my grandmother would say. Mi abuelita. I'm sorry for my gringo accent, but I'm sure it was better than Selena's. Well, bye Felicia, or I should say, bye Felipe. I don't know why of all things I chose to say hang my boss. Not even my current boss, my old boss. I mean, it doesn't matter. We're not hanging any bosses. That was just a weird... I could have said anything else. That will be it for this episode. Whether you like this episode or not, please be sure to leave a rating or a comment letting me know why you did or didn't enjoy the episode. Thanks for listening, and you'll hear me in the next one.